you've got questions, well, we've got answers, and we have the man to answer them, Jeffrey Levine from Buckingham Wealth Partners. Jeffrey, welcome back to another episode of Ask the Hammer.
It is great to be back with you, Bob. Happy and healthy New Year to you and your family.
To you and yours as well, and to our viewers as well. I hope everyone has a healthy and prosperous New Year. Speaking of our viewers, I have a question in my inbox, Jeffrey, about the new RMD tables for 2022. One of them has to do with a person who owns an IRA and is facing RMDs and wants to know how these new rules apply to them.
Sure. So in essence, new year, new IRA tables or new life expectancy tables. So ultimately, a required minimum distribution, which is the amount that all IRA owners and most owners of plans, 401ks, 403bs, et cetera, have to begin taking for the year that they turn 72, or if they're later than that. Those required minimum distributions are based on an individual's IRS-defined life expectancy. So someone who's 72 and just finished running their 8th marathon of the year, here early in the year, that'd be pretty impressive. But they just finished their 8th marathon of the year, and someone who, sadly is terminally ill, they have the same life expectancy for IRS purposes when it comes to their required minimum distributions. Now, it's been well over a decade since the IRS has updated its tables, and since that time, life expectancies have increased. And so a few years ago, there was a push, and ultimately IRS issued new regulations to create these new tables to match the current longer life expectancies. In short, what the new tables do is they reduce the amounts that most individuals need to take out of their retirement accounts each year as compared to the past. And so it's not a dramatic difference for folks. In many instances, it's around 5%. It can vary by age, but figure about 5% is a good estimate for most individuals. So if your RMD, your required minimum distribution, was going to be $10,000 this year, it's probably going to be about $9,500 with the new table. Of course, run your actual numbers, calculate your actual required minimum distributions, but at a high level, that's the big change here, is that there is a decrease for most people in the amount that they have to take out of their account each year.
Right. So two questions. One is nominally they'll pay less in taxes because the RMD amount is slightly less.
Yeah, so that's certainly one option, right? Is just, hey, if I have to take the minimum amount, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to take as little as possible, preserve as much in my IRA as I can for either later in life or for future heirs, et cetera. Or the other thing is, because people have to take their RMD and the RMD can't be converted, that oftentimes diminishes the amount that someone can convert efficiently above and beyond that amount. Whereas now, if you have a lower required minimum distribution, maybe you still end up taking the same amount out of your IRA each year, but more of it can go into your Roth IRA because less of it is being allocated towards your required minimum distribution.
Right. So, and then my second question, follow-up question, is around the number of tables. There's a uniform lifetime table, a joint and last survivor table, and a single life expectancy table.
Yeah, so nothing is easy, right? So we've got 3 tables to figure out one thing: how much you got to take out of your account each year. And what most owners use is the uniform lifetime table. The uniform lifetime table is the one you typically see now starting at age 72. In prior years before the Secure Act, you used to see it starting at age 70. There is another table that some owners use called the joint life table, which is what you referenced. And there, the joint table is used only by individuals who have named their spouse as the sole beneficiary of their account when that spouse is more than 10 years younger. So most people either don't have a spouse or they have a spouse who's relatively close in age, within a decade. If that's the case, you use that kind of default uniform life expectancy table. If you happen to have a spouse who's more than 10 years younger than you, and you've named them as your sole beneficiary of that account, then you can use the joint life expectancy table. Owners never use the single life expectancy table. If you use that, you're actually over-calculating your RMD and you're taking too much out. That single life table is used by beneficiaries who actually follow a different process in general. So it's worth, again, to summarize, most owners, uniform table, no owners, single lifetime table. The exception to the rule for owners, for those with much younger spouses, use that joint life expectancy table.
Right. And because I like to plan ahead, I can expect to use these tables for another decade.
We'll see. Maybe IRS will update them sooner, but I will say this: they probably have bigger fish to fry than updating these things on the regular. I mean, I don't know about you, Bob, but I still haven't got my refund from last year. So I hope they update that before they update the life expectancy tables again. So we'll probably have them for the foreseeable future. But this is the first year that they are in existence. And so when and if you calculate your own RMD, just make sure you're using the right table, the new tables from this year. Each of the 3 tables we reference is actually updated for 2022. So this is the first year. So not only do you have to figure out the right table, you have to make sure you're actually using the right table from the right year now. So just that much more complication to an already complicated area of RMDs.
Well, Jeffrey, you answered that reader's questions and all my follow-up ones, so much obliged.
Thank you so much. And we love these questions. If you have a question about your RMD or anything else for this year, Bob and I would love to hear from you. You can reach us and send us a message here by clicking this button and emailing askthehammer@buckinghamgroup.com. Again, click here and send us a message to askthehammer@buckinghamgroup.com. And Bob and I look forward to answering your questions real soon.